Greetings and welcome, my friends. You have come over to the official home of the Synthesizer. We ended Dusk-Morn season with 3 Synthesizer decks, and we're kicking off Foundation season with another Synthesizer list. This is the Hurtlocker 2, the Jeskai Synthesizer deck, with the power of Blink to trigger the Synthesizer on each of our turns. We've incorporated some new cards from Foundations that can help out our synthesizing ways. A lot of the cards from the original are still here, so the deck functions similar to the first one. We have ways to clone and copy a critical artifact, then continue making copies of it. We start off with a full set of 3 steps ahead. The amazing instant that lets us counter, copy an artifact, or draw. And depending on how much mana we have, we can do multiple modes. The copy ability is the best one of the 3, and it's incredible, as we can fire it off at instant speed to get a surprise synthesizer. High Noon is returning, as it will slow down opponents and buy us time to set up our board. It can even act as removal if we need it. We should be able to generate 5 mana to be able to blow it up and hit any target for 5 damage. The Tinker's Tote was great in the original, that we kept it in this one too. It's a 3 mana artifact that will generate a pair of 1/1 artifact men. Essentially, for 3 mana, we're boosting our Robot Overlords by 3 or more. The stat boosting effect from this is what we really like, but in a pinch we can sacrifice the Tote to gain 3 life, and we can use the small men to chump block if we need them to. The Synthesizer is our key card. With it in play, all our artifacts will generate a Robot Overlord. The AI have come to take over, step aside opponent. The Helm is a partner in crime to our Synthesizer. With it, we can copy any token artifact we have in play. This is amazing if we make a token synthesizer with 3 steps ahead or any other artifact. Every time we generate a token with the Helm in play, we'll get a bonus map token, which quickly adds up and pumps our Robot Overlords. Patchwork Banner is a great way to boost the stats of our Robot Overlords, as well as get us ramped to be able to play out our pricier cards. It's a card that has worked great in a lot of synthesizer decks, and here it even helps with color fixing. The Scrawling Crawler is a new card from Foundations. It's additional damage if we get to keep it in play, plus it will give us extra draws as well. As a bonus, it does share a type with our Robot Overlords, so boosting them with the banner will boost the Crawler as well. It does give the opponent an extra draw, but they have to pay for it with a point of damage. And of course, at 3 mana, this little guy will trigger our Synthesizer. Get in there, little fella. Solemn Simulacrum is a reprint in Foundations that we'll be happy to use here. When it enters play, we get to search out a basic land, and then if it dies, we get a card draw. The effect isn't game-breaking, but if we can get multiple lands, then this Simulacrum has been worth it. The Resolve is our sneaky blink card that we hope to use to blink away artifacts, then bring them back in on our next turn. This will trigger the Synthesizers, or the Tote, or the Simulacrum, or bring back our Steel Seraph as its bigger self, or we can wreck the opponent with the Meteor Golem. The haste and additional power pump can be game-breaking if we have enough artifacts blinking in and out and enough Robot Overlords. GG's opponent, thanks for coming to the big show. Steel Seraph is a powerful angel that not only triggers our synthesizers, but we can use it to give one of our Robot Overlords lifelink, or toss it in the air and get in with a flying A. Meteor Golem is a card in Foundations. Sure, it might be 7 mana, but its effect lets us take out their most threatening card. The Golem's stats aren't fantastic, but if we blink him in and out a couple of times, we're likely to gain a huge advantage on board, and that's really all we need the Golem to do for us. For lands, we have 4 Fabled Passage, the land we can sacrifice to search our library for any basic land, 2 Demolition Field, 4 Meticulous Archive, the Azorius Surveil land, 4 Floodfarm Verge, the Azorius land that needs a plains or island to enable both colors, 3 Mountains, 4 Island, and 4 Plains. Playing the deck is fairly straightforward, as the aim is still get a synthesizer down and play out artifacts to generate Robot Overlords. Build up the board while building up an army through the mid-game, then send in the AI teams to smash face. In most versions, we don't have much card draw, but this one does have the Crawler that can get us extra cards on our upkeep. The Tote is great at getting us blockers as well as a bit of extra life, but a Seraph will do a much better job especially if we have Robot Overlords in play that can take advantage of the Angel's ability gift. Lifelink is almost always the best choice, as that can let us stay in a game far longer than we would have been able to otherwise. The late game should see us landing a resolve, and if we have any kind of board, that should put the last nail in the coffin. Haste plus multiple synthesizer triggers should do in the opponent. There are a couple of easy changes that can be made. Replacing the Tote with Carrot Cake can give us an early blocker as well as a scry. High Noon can be swapped out with Unidentified Hovership for a touch of removal early on that we can copy using 3 steps ahead to take out more of the opponent's men. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Dinosaur Screams. No, wait, it's Dinosaur Dreams. I didn't think they could dream. This 3-lander is an auto keep. We're going first with the 2 Passage and a Verge along with a Synthesizer, a Crawler, an Angel, and a Simulacrum. Keep your pants on. Did they just mull down to 5? Opponent, what on earth are you doing? They play out a Mana Elf from long ago. They might be trying to ramp up to some big men. We get a High Noon, but we have to follow the line of plays that sets us up with a Synthesizer on turn 3. That's more mana for them. Lucky for us, we're going to be dropping our Synthesizer on our turn, and whatever big men they might have, we might have equally large-sized Robot Overlords. We get 2 lands on top, we'll keep 1, as that will let us get to 6 mana, and that's 1 short of our top end. I think the opponent is feeling the pinch of having to go down to 5 cards. We'll play out our Simulacrum this turn. That'll get us a land and a Robot Overlord. Our team starts out kind of small, but we'll grow them bigger in the turns to come. All that mana to fetch out a 2/2. I mean, I suppose there could be something big under that, but what if you fail to get something that is 4/4 or bigger? You're just asking the shuffler to Scrooge you good by manifesting dread. Our Surveil land shows us a land on top, but we've got the lands we need already. Let's slip this one over to the left. Swipe left, boys. We'll play out our Steel Angel and start using her ability to give one of our Robot Overlords lifelink. Then we'll send our men on in. At worst, they trade with the Simulacrum, and that's not bad, as he will get us a draw. They don't bother to trade and let our Simulacrum fight another day. Their face-down guy was a land, which is not a surprise. Really, the shuffler will do that to anyone trying to manifest dread. They fire off a Breach, which hasn't seen play in quite some time. We do have some men this time around. Sometimes our Synthesizer decks have 0 men. They got one of our Meteor Golems and used it to take out our Synthesizer. We still have a pair of Robot Overlords that can get bigger when we play out more artifacts. It's not the end of the world. This has to be a Crawler turn. He'll pump up our Robot Overlords and hit for a bit of damage without having to be involved in attacking. We'll follow it up with High Noon, as that can be a potential 5 damage to anything, including their precious face. This time around, we're going to leave back a blocker. We'll not want to get the crawler involved, since it is more like a small shield dread that sits there and pings the opponent for every draw they make. Surprisingly, they take all the damage. That's 13 in one fell swoop. They tossed a tyrant in the grave. Was that an oopsie-poopsie, bro? Shouldn't you have kept that in hand? They play out another one, but why ship the other one? That must have been an oopsie-poopsie. They explode with embarrassment. GG's, bro. This is Art UR0 cast R0. Is that a secret code, bro? The shuffler is being hilarious. We get a 4-lander with a synthesizer and double 3 steps ahead. The problem is we have no blue at all. Let's not risk this, Mull. Then we get a 3-lander with a double angel and a Meteor Golem. The resolve is good, but we'll have to ship it to the bottom. Keep. Our archive shows us a mountain on top. We'll keep it. We do have a 7-mana Golem we'd like to play out at some point. We archive and have another archive on top. It's a train of archives, apparently. Turn 3 and the opponent has had no plays. Maybe they have all removals in hand. Hopefully not removals that can hit robot men. We'll play out the banner and name Angel, since that's what we have in hand. Archive shows us a 3 steps ahead, and of course we'll keep it. That's a counter or a copy of our Meteor Golem, or maybe both. They respond to the Angel with a removal, but it's a removal that's not going to work, thanks to our banner. The pants are falling off our bro over there. Tapping down the Angel is not removal and only delays the beatings by a turn or 2. We'll pay the full price for the second Angel, and this one will be a beefy 6/5. They hit it immediately with an unwanted remake. That will let us... Oh no, how is this happening? We get a synthesizer and a land, but whichever card we choose, we won't be able to flip it over. That's a synthesizer that's gone to waste. I suppose it doesn't really matter what we pick. All we do is let them know we're a synthesizer deck by taking the land, but the information is hardly damaging to us. They're setting up a hotel over there. That's fine. On our turn, we can take out one of their rooms with the golem, and on a later turn, we can copy the golem. They play out another meat locker to keep the Angel tapped down, but we have 5 power on board that isn't locked down. They go for a ghostly dancer, but we're not going to be dancing with ghosts anytime soon. We've got the mana to counter and make a token copy, so we'll duplicate our golem and smash their other room. Get a room, bro. Hotel California goes down like a house of cards. GG's, bro. This is I am a rant, son. Well, okay then, bro. You can be what you want to be. This is by far one of the worst 4-landers I've seen in quite some time. We're going to want some good draws before we get to turn 3. Keep your pants on. Bro's first mistake was playing a bat. Sure, they get to take a card from our hand, but our hand is loaded with cards that aren't critical at the moment. They took the helm, but there's nothing we can copy with it in the near and distant future. And then just like that, we get a 3 steps ahead. That helm would certainly be better in our hand than under a bat. This will be a Tote turn. We'll get ready to at least attack back after we drop the banner and name Gnome. They follow up their hit with a Thoughtstalker Warlock, which is a very good follow-up. A bat alone would not have gotten the job done, but with good support, their board looks surprisingly good now. They took the 3 steps ahead, which is another good move. We'll play out the banner. Hopefully we get the chance to drop the crawler on our next turn. The card draw could help us out more than it would help them. Another bat takes our only play we had left, and now it's just a slugfest to see who gets the other person to 0 first. With the board as it is now, it's a pain train that we are on the losing end of for the moment. We drew another crawler, and that might be able to get us back in the game. For some reason, they give up both of their men, and we'll get our other crawler back. We've got the mana to play it out. Their board suddenly doesn't look very good. They rebuild their board with a lively dirge, but their men are far too small to be good in the mid to late game. Two crawlers are better than one shield red at dishing out damage. If only we could get a 3 steps ahead to make another copy, the pain would be fierce. We draw a synthesizer along with another banner. It's go time. Prepare your shorts, bro, for a staining. They've got a removal. Let's see what they hit. They had no choice but to hit our Robot Overlord. That's all right, as the pain train will keep crawling along, and we'll have more Robot Overlords coming soon. They take out a crawler, but it costs them a free booty. Sometimes you get free booty, and sometimes you have to give it away. They swing in, but we're not blocking 1/1 men. That also leaves only the Warlock back. Should have kept back Tiny Bones, bro. That's your best blocker. Alright, time for the Golem to come in and smash. We could hit Tiny Bones so we can swing in freely, but if we take out the bat, we get our Helm back and we can make things very tough for them with it in play. It's kinda late for a Delny. The time for kids to come out and play is over. The big boys are in town and they want opponent flesh. Another free booty, but those suddenly don't look so great with an 8/8 on the other side of the table. We'll send in the Golem and our Robot Overlord. Their men are all chumps, and we have the means to generate more Robot Overlords without playing out more cards. We'll hold back the Crawler since it will get blocked up and taken out if we send it in. But we don't mind losing the Golem. It's already done its job. A bandit's talent is about useless at this point in time. The time for tossing cards came and went. What matters now is what is on the board. They've got 3 blockers, but they need 4. At the end of their turn, we'll generate another Robot Overlord. That will be GG's. This is Double Zoo G. He's a real G. Maybe even a double G. We get a 4-lander, and once again it's one that looks awful. Our first play will be on turn 4. This is a mull. Then we get a shuffler special with a synthesizer, a helm, a crawler, and a 3 steps ahead. The high noon is alright, but we don't have any white. We'll keep this and ship the high noon. We're going to need a 3rd land soon for this to work out. Hopefully an untapped 3rd land. We get an archive and we'll play it out right away. That will get us the mana we need for our synthesizer on our next turn, and we can start dropping artifacts to generate Robot Overlords. 1 land suddenly changed the outlook of this game dramatically. We have a crawler on top and an island. We'll keep both, but let's get the island first. That will let us fire off our 3 steps ahead to copy our synthesizer. That's always an amazing play whenever we get it. Bro must be playing a 1,000 card deck. Look at that stack of cards. They fire off a white virtue to make a 2/2 token, but we'll take the moment to fire off our 3 steps ahead. They get a 2/2, but we'll get a 3/3. They play out the Archangel of Taxes, which is fine. We've got a bit of mana we can use to pay the attacking in fee. We'll play out the Banner, and that will get us a pair of Robot Overlords. We'll still have the mana to swing in with our first one. They throw their little 2/2 in front of our beefy metal robot. His muscles are made of iron. They play an Ashiok, but it's likely all she does is make a pair of blockers. We knew it. There's only so many times that they'll be able to do that. Let's play our Helm. When we have free mana, we can use it to make extra copies of our synthesizer. Free men, free scry, and a pile of synthesizers sounds good to me. We're not going to bother with their planeswalker. We're going for what matters most. Their life total. Put on a diaper, bro. The metal men are coming. We can only send 2, but that's fine. At their size, 1 hit is crippling. They get enough blockers that we'll have to not play anything if we're going to want to get in for damages. But that's fine. Let's send our Robot Overlords. They block up. Every guy gets to go one-on-one with the great ones. But even their biggest guy is too small, and we get in 1 big hit. They'll need a sweeper or to get another 5 blockers on their turn. That's 234 cards still left in their deck. What a stack. They give it up. Our pressure is too much. GG's, bro. Extra cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.